All righty, great. Let me see, what am I doing with this? Always that question. There's always that question of how's that thing pointing? And I don't care if you can't see my head. But I'm just gonna remind you as people are coming in and we're getting ready to start. We've been working a couple different areas in the body. One of the areas we've been working is this whole inner thigh. So we're going to continue, and when we work the inner thigh from the pubic bone to the sit bone, all the way down to the knee, so this whole space, and then we've been working to firm oftentimes towards the inseam of the leg. And the other area we worked with a little yesterday was from your ASIS, your hip point here, and that space over to your greater trochanter out on the side over here. So this space between your hip point and your greater trochanter, if you can get a sense of this space between the hip point, it's the pelvis right here, the side of your femur over here. This space in between, which often is tight from sitting so much, it becomes really tight. Sometimes it's chronically tight. So we're going to see if we can work with opening that a little bit. When we're able to, what I'm hoping is that as you're able to get more in touch with the different parts of the adductors and how you tone them. Sometimes you tone one this way, the different things, how that affects what the pelvis is doing and how that affects what's happening in the hips. And the same with this place here between the ASIS and the greater trochanter. How can you release and soften that space? And when you do, what does that do to release the leg bone from the pelvic girdle? All right. So I'm going to close my door over here, and then I'm going to take a seat. So go ahead and take a comfortable seat. Okay. All right, so let's go ahead to get a comfortable seat. You're welcome to close your eyes or cast your gaze down. Connect to the ground beneath you. And lengthen your spine. And then drop into your breathing. As you drop into the presence of your inhale, the pause at the top of your inhale, and your exhale, can you, if you practice Ujjayi breathing, begin your Ujjayi breathing and see if you can make your Ujjayi smooth all the way, the whole inhale. And then as the breath turns around to be the exhale. If Ujjayi gets your brain all turned on, like, oh my God, what is that? Then don't practice Ujjayi. Simply go to a balanced inhale and exhale. And whichever one you've chosen, can you make the inhale and the exhale the same length?
And I'll share with you while you're breathing some Rilke. I beg you, with everything unresolved in your heart, and try to love the questions themselves as if they were locked rooms or books written in a very foreign language. Don't search for the answers which could not be given you now, because you would not be able to live them. And the point is to live everything. Live the question now. Perhaps then, someday, for in the future, you will gradually, without even noticing it, live your way into the answer. At the bottom of your next exhale, you can release any control on your breath. Bring your hands together in Anjali Mudra. And this morning, I'm going to chant the sound of Om and then sing Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. May all beings in all realms find peace, happiness, and may my words and actions support this. So taking a deep inhale. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. And with your exhale, you're welcome to bow your head to your heart. And then release your hands and lift your gaze. So in a comfortable seat, whatever that seat is for you, we're going to take a simple twist to start. So let's twist to your right side. So let's inhale the arms halfway. And then with the exhale, you're turning towards your right. So your right hand's going to come behind you. And your left hand might come to either midline or across. You might put your attention at the top of the left ASIS, that hip point, all the way to the front of your left greater trochanter, and see if you can release and soften any tension you might be holding there. Then we'll come back to center. Inhale the arms halfway. And exhale, twisting to your left. The left hand behind you, right hand across. But you might notice if you go from the that when you release that space, you just might find more space to turn because of the fascial pulling that might be happening in that area. We'll exhale back to center. So you could have a block possibly off to your right. And you can still be either in a Kairos pose, Virasana, cross-legged, whatever's comfortable. Inhale, lift your left arm. And exhale, you're gonna start to side bend. So the hand can either be on the block or it might be on the floor. And again, from the hip point on the raised arm side, all the way over to the outer left hip, can you soften there? Allow there to be length. And then inhale, come up. You can, if you want to prop, move it over to the other side. If you need it over there. Inhale, reach the right arm. And exhale, side bend. And then we'll inhale, come up. Exhale, release both arms. All right, let's come off of your blankets or whatever you're sitting on. And take either downward facing dog or puppy pose. Downward dog or puppy. Strongly reaching into the finger pads and knuckles, broad across your upper back. Let's bend the left knee. If you're in downward dog, let's give a little bend to the left knee and reach all the way back into the right heel. Even if the right heel isn't on the floor or the blanket, and you still lengthen back through both the inner and the outer right heel. Still reaching strongly into the hands. And then we'll make the legs symmetrical. Deep inhale if you're in downward dog. Go ahead, reach back into the left heel. Both the inner and the outer left heel. So the right knee has a little bend in it. Are you still practicing your balanced breath? And then if you're in downward dog, make both legs symmetrical. Great. And then if you're in downward dog, you're going to inhale forward to plank. If you're in puppy, walk the hands back and come. Good. Let's inhale deeply. Exhale. Let's lightly touch the knees down. And take child's pose for a moment. Walk the hands. The hands can stay out. We're going to take the hips back. Let's reach, keep the arms actively reaching forward. And then we're going to inhale, come back to all fours. And exhale, straighten the right leg. You're going back to plank. Left leg, the plank pose. Inner thighs are toned. Exhale back, downward facing dog. Inhale forward to plank. And your next exhale, come all the way down with your chest. Legs are long behind you. You might have the forehead touching the ground or the chin. Hands, palms are on the ground. So we're going to come up into Cobra, but before you come up, can you tone the adductors to the inseam of the inner thigh, both legs? And inhale to Cobra. Exhale, lower. Inhale, all fours. Exhale, downward dog or puppy. Still working with the smooth quality of your breathing. Good. Let's take another deep inhale. And then with your exhale, come up on the balls of the foot if you're in downward dog and bring your right foot forward. If you're in puppy pose, you're still going to step the right foot forward. Oh, we might need our blocks. Sorry. Might need our blocks. We'll grab those. And is your blanket still around? You could pad your back knee because we're going to bring your knee down. All these details. Details. So now you've got your left knee is supported on a blanket. If you have blocks, you could make them tall. And if you don't have blocks, you could take the hands to the top of the right thigh. But we can still drop into the space between the left hip point and that space that travels over to the greater trochanter on the left. Let's see if we can soften that space a little. Not by driving forward really hard, but more by just how can I let go there? And lift through the top of the breastbone at the same time. Oh, I need to lengthen my front inner thigh out of my pelvis, my right front inner thigh. And then I'm going to press into my blocks if I've got them, press myself back and step back again to downward dog or puppy. Inhaling deeply. Another full inhale. With your exhale, you come up on the balls of both feet and you step your left foot forward. There's the lunge. You can grab your blocks or maybe you already had them. And then bring the back knee down again to the support of a blanket. If I have blocks, I'm going to make them taller and pull them back. If I don't have any blocks, I'm going to go to the top of my left thigh with my hands. So I want to balance the weight in the hips. So watch, make sure that you're out on the front leg, that the outer part of that leg isn't hitchhiking you over to the left. Are you able to stay, really on the midline of your pose right now? And on the back leg, from the top of the hip point
all the way to the outer right hip. You're gonna start to let go. The pelvis on the front leg, between the pelvis and the inner thigh, you're also letting go, because sometimes there can be some holding right there. Great. Okay. And then we'll press back. Move the blocks forward, tuck the toe under. Inhale, lift the back leg, and exhale, step forward. So there's your forward fold, Uttanasana. If you have your blocks, you might use them to inhale halfway. So you can lengthen the front of the spine, and then exhale, bow forward again. Releasing the head and the neck. With your next inhale, let's go halfway again. Your exhale, fold. And inhale will come all the way up. And exhale, hands back in front of your heart. Relax your arms. Let's move your blanket off to the side. And so, hands in front of the heart again. I know it says my internet's a little unstable, so I don't know if my voice is getting all wonky on you. We'll see how it goes. Inhale, lift both arms.
Lynn, I've lost you. Has anyone else lost you?
Yeah, it's all frozen up for me too.
Yeah.
Lynn,
we
can you hear us?
Oh, hello. Well, let's keep breathing.
That's what we do.
I was holding my breath.
Where's Lynn? Are you there?
I wonder if we need to sign off and sign back in, or,
Here I am.
okay.
But do you hear me?
Oh,
Yeah.
Is
I
that-
was like, are you guys still in your low lunge? Bring your right foot forward.
Is that what we're doing? Exiting
Let's
and
go back to
coming back?
Uttanasana. Back to Uttanasana.
okay. She just needed some tea.
I don't know what the deal is. So let's check Uttanasana again. I saw you all went away and I was like, oh no, when are they coming back? All right. So in your Uttanasana right now, I can talk you through this. Great. Let's inhale halfway and exhale, step your left foot back. Yeah. There you go. Lighten the hands on your blocks. I was thinking, don't worry, stay with your pose. Good. And upright. And arms in any position. Good. Inhale the arms out.
Exhale, bow forward. Inhale, step forward. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, bow. Inhale, rise. Exhale, hands in front of the heart. Inhale, lift both arms. Exhale, Uttanasana, forward fold. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, downward facing dog. So you can always use hands on blocks or hands on the ground. Reach all the way out the ball. Working with your breath. I'm back. Are you still upright? Good. I'm hoping you're in downward facing dog. Good job. And let's lift the left leg from the left inner thigh. Lift your left leg up. And then exhale, left foot forward. See if this is going to work. Hoping you're still hearing me. Okay, and then coming into your upright lunge. Good. Inhaling deeply. And exhale, bow forward. Awesome. Let's inhale forward to plank. Plank pose. Trying to get my view of me bigger, but it doesn't want to do it. So you're in plank pose. Still breathing in plank pose. Inner thighs toned. Great. Yep. Awesome. Are still pressing into the ground. Covering the knee. So hands are along the side body. Tone the inner thigh. Inhale, cobra pose. Exhale, you might press to seal pose, where the arms go towards straight. Inhaling in seal pose, especially the front inner thighs are toned. Exhale, lower back down. Inhale, all fours. And exhale, downward facing dog or puppy. Inhale deeply. Exhale, you're gonna walk the feet to the hands. So you'll step your feet forward. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise all the way up. Arms overhead. And exhale, hands back in front of the heart. And release both arms. And then relax that. Okay, we're gonna take
triangle pose. So set yourself up. So you're gonna step the feet wide apart. And let's put right foot in. And and the right greater trochanter. We do a lot of gripping around that. Both legs are straight. Exhale. You might bring the right hand to the hip as the left hand comes down. I often notice that I'm like, wow, I'm gonna just move my right heel back slightly. Sometimes that feels like a good correction for me. On the front leg, draw that greater trochanter, the outer left femur bone, into midline so that you can feel your weight pass through the center of your left leg, your forward leg. And can you let go of the space between the right hip point and the right greater trochanter? Can you lengthen there? And maybe add the right arm. And make the gaze a comfortable place. And then we're going to inhale, come up. Great. Exhale, release. We'll spin the feet the other direction. So you can move your prop. Second side. Okay, inhale the arms when you're ready. And then exhale, triangle. So left hand might come to the hip as your right hand comes down. So draw the front leg, the outside of the right hip into midline so that the weight shifts through the center of your right leg. And on the back leg, you're gonna let the ASIS on the back leg, that hip point, roll a little forward into the front plane. Release that space between that front hip point and the outer hip there. Both legs are straight. And then turn the torso to the sky, maybe at the arm. And maybe the gaze. Long spine on that down arm side. Really lengthen the side of the waist on the down side. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Good. And Mary, can you lengthen the right side a little more? Your right lower side body. Yes, like that. Notice what happens in your hips when you do that. Where the weight falls in your hip joints. Great. Excellent. Yeah, that looks great, Ellie. Awesome. Yay, I get to see you. So much fun. And then let's inhale and come up. Good. Great. And then exhale, turn the feet in. And step the feet back together. Cool. Standing there for a moment. Yeah. Good. And then release, just relaxing that. Let's take a wide-legged forward fold, actually. So you're gonna, if you need your blocks, you've got them. You can put them in front of you. You're gonna step your feet wide apart, make them parallel. Hands can be on the hips. Inhale through the top of the breastbone. Exhale, bow forward.
So feel the inner thighs moving back behind you. Hands can come to either blocks or the ground, depending on the length of your hamstrings. Knees are straight. You might walk the hands back a little towards the feet, but as you do, let's lift the top of the breastbone. So the hands may have walked your fists. Sometimes I like the fists. And then lift through the top of the breastbone. Great. And then relax all that. Let yourself bow forward. And then we'll walk the hands back out. Shift them up to the hips. Inhale, come up. Great. And then exhale, step the feet back together. Mountain pose. And then let that go. Great. Okay, let's take half moon pose, Ardha Chandrasana. So if you've got your blocks, you might want to put them tall on your mat. The inside of the block is lined up with the little toe side of your foot. And the blocks are, they're like 18 inches in front of me. They're not right beside my feet. They're out away. All right, so that I can be long through my spine. Let's take it from Tadasana. We've been working on this. And let's stand on your right foot first, but just tuck the left toes under. So here, we're gonna really want some strength in the standing leg. So take the greater trochanter and draw it in towards midline. Find the strength of the right inner thigh. And then when you're ready, right inner thigh strong, pick up the back leg. Now you're starting to turn. There's a little turn. You're drawing the right greater trochanter to midline. You're reaching all the way down into the right inner heel. You might add the left arm. And on the lifted leg, you're reaching all the way out the ball of the lifted foot. And then we'll come back up, bend the front knee, and back to standing. Yeah. And you can notice in standing, just feeling the difference between the two sides. So we're going to stand on the left leg. So as you shift the weight, draw the left outer hip into midline. Take the right foot back, tuck the right toes on the ground. And then can you, on the standing leg, draw the adductors, lower, middle, upper, to the inseam of the left leg. And then as you make the transition, keep that strong. So you're going to start to pick up the back leg, stay really strong in your standing leg, the inner thigh, as you transition. Strong, reaching through that lifted leg. Great, that's it. Inhaling again. And as you exhale, you bend the front knee and you're reversing. Yeah, great, there you go. Inhale, lift both arms.
Exhale, hands in front of the heart. One more time. Inhale, lift both arms. And exhale, forward fold, Uttanasana. Releasing the head, the neck. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, one more time, Uttanasana, forward fold. Great, and then let's come down to the ground here. You're gonna come down to your knees and grab one of your blankets, something to sit on. I just wanna check Baddha Konasana for a second. You're gonna come into sitting on your blanket, bring the soles of the feet together. Maybe you need a little extra boost under the back of the pelvis. Just take a moment of Baddha Konasana. Let's see where it is this morning. So we're sitting tall. And here we are, where there's a release we're looking for in that space between the hip point and the greater trochanters. Some deep breaths. The inner thighs are lengthening. Great. All right. And then we're going to take the hands under the knees and lift them back to center and straighten both legs. All right. Let me give you a couple options here because I would like to do half Supta Virasana. Let me make sure this screen is pointing down so you can see. And I don't know what kind of props you have. So I want to give you a couple choices. The first one I'm going to show you is one where I'm going to assume you have props. And the second one I'll show you is going to be one if you don't have any props. So, and some of you might remember, I'm going to take my blocks. If I've got blocks, I'm going to take them end to end. And I'm going to put a blanket on top of that. If I have a bolster, I might put the bolster right on top of that. If I don't have a bolster, I'm going to put another blanket on top of that. I mean, it's not, you know, we've been doing these, so some of you know what you need. And then, so this is one option for some of you. When I come, I'm going to take my heels wide apart. I'm not going to sit on this. I'm going to actually come down in front of it. I'm going to bring my right foot forward. And so the blanket is hitting right above my pelvis on my low back. And I'm going to take part of this and I talk you through an opening through here. So this is if you have enough props. And it's okay with the ankle and the knee. Some of you, this won't, I want the knee to be touching down, and some of you, this won't be a great option. So another option, if you don't have those props, you still might not have two blankets. And this option is going to be, you're going to lie on the ground and say, you're going to take your left heel to the right sit bone. Oh wait, no, first we're going to take a blanket under the pelvis. Then I'm going to take my left heel to my right sit bone. And I'm going to let this left knee drop down and reach my left arm overhead. So there's another option. It's not quite the same, but it does work a little with this space at the front of the hip. Can you pick one of those? And if none of those work, take the low lunge with the knee down that we were doing at the beginning of class.
So let me talk to those of you that are in half Supta Virasana. So with the down leg, on the down leg, can you lengthen from the ASIS on that down leg? You're lengthening all the way across the front of that hip joint. I mean, you're doing that in both of the poses, all of them, all three of those options. I'd also like you, if you're in the Ardha Supta Virasana, the first one, can you lift the hips, tone that upper back inner thigh towards the inseam. That's going to help you lift your hip up on the down knee side. Those of you that are in this Virasana, half supine Virasana. Is the knee, if you're in that half Supta Virasana, is the knee towards midline? And you're lengthening across the front of that hip on the downside. If you're in the second version I offered you, then you might even put one more blanket under your pelvis and have your pelvis be a little higher. And then this is for Maria, because I know you have a lot of flexibility there, Maria. So Maria, on the down leg, tone the upper back inner thigh to help just give a little lift to your pelvis as you lengthen out the tops of both thighs. Okay, so now let's switch sides. Switch sides. If you have a question, you're welcome to ask a question if you're just like, my gosh, Lynn, what? You're in one of these versions. And if you're curious about what's going on, please feel free to ask. If you for some of you, you're going to be like, oh my gosh, my knee, Lynn, my knee cannot do the Supta Virasana. Right. Don't do that one if your knee is unhappy. Is your knee still unhappy? If you're lying on the blanket and you bring, so you're on the second side, right heel to left sit bone. Does your knee have enough space if you're taking the other version, where the right heel comes to the left sit bone? This was the one you're doing. And you're still, no matter which one you're in, even the low lunge with the back knee down, you're still opening this space at the front of the hip. Breathing. Breathing, breathing, breathing smooth. And taking one more deep breath. And then exhale, release that. If you can move your props out of the way, lie back down on your back, just flat on the floor there, and take a dead bug or a happy baby. Dead bug or a happy baby pose for everyone. And you can always hold on to either the backs of the thighs, the shins,
or the little toe side of the feet. Let's keep the top of the sacrum on the ground, whichever one you've chosen. All right. And then we'll bring both feet to the floor. I'm just resting for a moment. So you've got the feet on the ground. You're lined up between, you know, the heart, the pelvis. All right, then let's roll over to one side. Use your arms, push yourself up. And I want to do an upper back opener. So you're going to take your blocks end to end on your mat. And let's put one of your blankets on top of that with the rolled end going away from you. The rolled end away from you. I'm going to take another blanket on top of that. Da-da. Now, most of us are gonna sit like this. Most of us are gonna have both feet on the ground, and we're gonna take the shoulder blades. We can put our elbows up on top of the little stack. We're gonna put our upper back there, hands behind the head, and keep the lower front ribs down. And slowly come back. This is what most of us will find plenty. Keep the hands behind the head if your neck needs that support. Oops. Otherwise, you might take the arms out, but don't take the arms out if the neck is not happy about that. And I'm just gonna say this is really Maria, because I know she's got the really loose at the front of the hips. Maria, you might sit in Virasana, full Virasana, both legs, and come back over this way with lifting the hips, knees toward each other. So if you've got a lot of opening at the front of the thighs, then you might be in this version. And those of you who have your feet on the floor right now and your back over this, let's go ahead and straighten the legs. Again, the hands are either behind the head or they're reaching overhead. Strong at the inner thigh. Straight legs. I can still be really toned at the inner thigh. And then we're going to go ahead, take the hands behind the head if they're not. Lift the chin to the chest. Reach the arms out. And can you sit yourself up? Okay. Great. Then let's turn around towards our stack. Turn it so it'll be the long way and take downward facing dog. And you might make a little support for your forehead. Or you can always take child's pose with the arms forward. Drop back into your Ujjayi breathing or your balanced inhale and exhale. You're reaching strongly into the finger pads and knuckles and taking the rib cage toward the pelvis.
Really reach your rib cage away from your hands, even if the head has a little rest. All right. And then if you're in downward dog, you can lower the knees and walk the hands back. All righty. So what's next? Okay. Let's move the blocks out of the way. Let's take one blanket on the mat with the roll that is going to be closer facing me, the nice edge of my rolled blanket. And then you're going to lie down. The pubic bone is not on the blanket. And now I could either have my strap with a tiny little loop in it. I can away here. So one option is going to be I'm going to reach back last and take half bow pose one way. Maybe I don't need the strap. Maybe I'll reach back, grab my foot, knees to midline, and take bow pose. Half a bow pose. Okay? Half a bow pose. So we'll do one side right now. One side, whichever way you've chosen, whether you're grabbing your foot or you're using a strap, can you make sure the knee is toward the midline? The knee isn't cocking way out to the side. You're bringing it in. The other arm can be also strong through the leg. Opening the front of the hip. Exhale, release. Release and rest for a moment. All right, so let's take the second side. So either with a strap or your hand, you're going to grab your other foot. Bring that other arm into like a sphinx pose, so that forearms on the ground, and then reach out your leg into your hand. So you're going to reach from that hip point. You're going to lengthen all the way back, and you're also pressing into the front hand, lifting the front of the chest, and exhale, releasing. And rest. Slide your hands, palms on the ground, press yourself up to all fours. And child's pose. You can use your blanket to make a little thing to rest your forehead on so that your sit bones are reaching towards your heels. All right, and then up from there. Okay, here's the next one we're gonna do. It's gonna be you're gonna lie on your back. So go ahead and come down onto your back, everybody. And I'm gonna talk you through this one. So just give yourself some good support? I mean, like, is the floor comfortable? Do you need a blanket under you? How is that? Then you're going
We lost you, Lynn.
I hope so. Then what you're gonna do, let me come up and make sure you're still, I'm not like accidentally muted. Okay, hips are 2 inches to the right. You're lying on your back. And now you're gonna cross your left knee tightly over the right one. Cross them over. Left knee over the right. Can anybody hear me? Hello, hello. Let me see. I see somebody do it. Oh, no, I'm hearing it. No, I don't see you. I wonder if we're frozen again. This is just a good twist. Left knee over the right, and then you're going to tilt down to the left. That's kind of a Gomukhasana legs twist. Does anybody hear that? Oh, my goodness. And tilt the legs to the right. So the legs are going right, the shoulder is back left. Do we get that Gomukhasana twist? And then you're gonna exhale back to center. Bring the hips back to midline. And then go back to dead bug or happy baby. Dead bug or happy baby pose again. Dead bug or happy baby, resting back. Yes, great. You can, and the top of the sacrum is still on the ground. And you either have a hold of the back of the legs, the shins, or the little toe side of your foot. And can you get a sense, the width of your feet, as you have, you know, the knees are wide apart, but what happens when you bring the knees a little closer? What happens at the back of the sacrum? Does the back of the sacrum get a little broader when the knees are a little closer together? Great. Awesome. Then you're going to release that, bring the feet back down to the ground. Yeah. Let's roll over to one side. Use your arms to press yourself back up. And let's take a supported, well, first let's visit Baddha Konasana one more time. So you take, a couple of your blankets, or maybe it's rolled up into the thirds. And let's just, get a sense of what Baddha Konasana is like from our practice this morning. Maybe you feel it feels the same, or maybe the heels are a little closer, or maybe the knees are lower. And then let's take the hands under the knees, straighten the legs again. And then we're going to take a reclined, supported Baddha Konasana for resting. So you're going to take a blanket, fold it in half lengthwise. Your blocks to support the outer knees. So the soles of the feet are toward each other. The sacrum is not pinned. A little support for the back of the head. And you're going to rest here as an option. You're going to make a mindful transition over to one side and back to a comfortable seat. And we're going to practice a little pranayama. So take your time making that transition. Once you've found a comfortable seat, you still close your eyes and just take a moment to drop back into your Ujjayi breathing, the balanced inhale and the balanced exhale, a 1-to-1 ratio. So you're counting the length of your inhale and the length of the exhale, and you're making them even. And then at the bottom of your next exhale, you can start practicing the box breathing we've been working on. So you might, whatever the inhale, you're going to make all an inhale for 6, suspend for 6, exhale for 6, suspend the exhale, the same length, or a count of 4, whatever is easy for you to maintain the smooth quality of the inhale suspension, the exhale, and the exhale suspension. And then at the bottom of your next exhale, release any control on your breath. Bring your hands in front of your heart. Namaste. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for being here and dealing with all the technical funkiness that is bound to happen.
Thank you, Lynn.
Have a question, you're welcome to